So we tend to see a lot of things in the, coding jargon that sometimes you don't understand, right? And right now, let me go to Excalibur to back to actually show what we accumulated from the chat. So we said headless. We see it a lot. We don't know sometimes what it is. We see the word virtualization, CI/CD, also code simulators, MPRs, and so on and so forth. We will talk about more soon, right? So our friend here, ProEvils, in the chat went and actually took the same screenshot here and put it into ChatGPT. And then ChatGPT just replied. So it said, headless is a setup without a visual interface like a browser or UI, often used to automate testings or APIs. The or APIs part here for me is new because honestly, I know that, for example, you can set up like some payment system in your application and you tend to use APIs a lot, and you always find like, hey, this is headless CMS, hey, this is whatever, hey, this is a headless API feature that you can use to just accept payments or whatever like that. And I honestly never cared about that headless part. I just know that I use an API and that's it. Virtualization part, creating a new or a virtual version of something like a server, OS, or a storage, so multiple isolated environments can run on one physical system. So this is for me actually still hard even to understand till now. Creating a virtual version of something. So a virtual version of something. Does me create an Express server is not virtual, right? I don't know. For this reason itself, it says like a server or a OS or a storage, so you can create a virtual version of something or multiple isolated environments. Therefore, it's not a physical system. Okay, I got it. So if something is not a physical system, probably it's a virtualized system, and therefore you actually call it virtualized something like running Docker, right? Nice. I mean, this is actually very cool to go into because some people who are not able to understand this, is actually a good time for them to understand them. There is this CI/CD pipeline part, and I know this one personally for sure. I work with it every day, but I want to also explain it to who asked it in the chat. This is automated processes that integrates, tests, and deploy code regularly to ensure quick, reliable releases. Think about it as you are actually creating snapshots of your application thrown into versions so you can find them later on. Into images that probably passed into, let's say, Argo CD or whatever, to create a new version of your application available for the public. That's what I do personally. I worked a lot with Argo CD APIs and stuff like that. I worked also with OpenReplay, for example, for creating like storing or tracking user data using cookies and stuff like that. This actually, if I am going to be someday an expert on something, I will be an expert on user cookies because I was heavily into this topic, and also I worked heavily onto high charts and Apex charts and anything charts because they thought that that's cool for me to learn. And Code Simulator is a tool or environment that runs code in a controlled settings, mimicking real condition without affecting actual systems. So probably this is like a system like Algo Expert, like that website where you can actually learn coding or front-end stuff with just writing code on a web browser or something like that. And that is actually cool. Maybe our console in the browser is actually a tool for our environment to run code in it and controlled settings where this keyword refers to the window, because the this keyword in the backend or an Express doesn't refer to the window object, by the way, if you didn't know. PR, pull request. So that's one of you who asked this as well. And it's a request to merge code changes into main branch, allowing review and discussion before integration. Yeah, review and discussion, that's a big topic itself, but code changes, whenever you have a new branch and you want to push the code somewhere, you push it to your target branch, what we call in Azure, for example. And the target branch would be, for example, main, develop, or stage, or QA, or whatever. And that will pass by like certain steps. And it can be, for example, the step for testing, the step for end-to-end testing, the step for checking environment variables, the step for whatever. And it depends also on the platform. As Andrew here said, GitLab calls it an MR. Really? merge request. Yeah, actually that's correct. And Azure calls it a PR actually. And that's it. I mean, this is a good video that we can store and we can also share later on to TikTok. And thanks guys for